Five living things that are surprisingly related. Number 5. Brassica oleracea. Brassica oleracea is a species of leafy vegetable which we know in many different forms. It has been bred into a number of different subspecies, each with its own morphology and taste. Imagine sitting down to a meal of steamed broccoli, baked cauliflower, fried kale and cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. Every single one of these vegetables, despite looking and tasting different, is Brassica oleracea. Broccoli has been bred to accentuate the inner part whilst cabbage has been bred for its leaves. It does not take a stretch of the imagination to see that Brussels sprouts are, for the most part, miniaturized cabbages, and cauliflowers are largely paler broccolis. Kale are cabbages which have been bred to grow their leaves outwards instead of into a head. Nevertheless, all these vegetables are easily distinguished by taste, and their hugely different shapes and colors makes it surprising that they are all the exact same species. Number 4. In Europe, turnip is a common vegetable to see on one's dinner plate, whilst in Asia buchu and its varieties are enjoyed. Unexpectedly, these are different parts of the same plant. In the West, Brassica raps was bred to emphasize its large root, which is eaten as a turnip. In the East, the very same species was bred for its leaves, and the root stayed small and largely unsuitable for eating. Essentially, each region ate a different one of the two parts of the plant. Further breeds and subspecies of Brassica raps include broccoletti, Japanese mustard, and, of course, the many variations of buchu, bok choy, chusum, Napa cabbage, wombok, beke, Pekinesis cabbage, and many others. Although all of these foods look and taste different, they all come from the same species of plant. Number 3. Capsicum annuum. Sweet peppers, or capsicums, come in many varieties. They can be red, green, yellow, orange, white, or even purple. Each color has a subtly different taste. Many of these are actually the same plant in a different stage of ripeness. The plant begins at green before turning yellow and finally red. White capsicums are often paler varieties, and purple capsicums have been bred for their color, but are still the same species, Capsicum annuum. More interestingly, a number of hot, spicy chili peppers are also the same species as these sweet, unspicy vegetables. Although all these foods are similar, it is nevertheless surprising that they are all one species. The German and Hebrew words for capsicum are both paprika, which in English we use to describe a spice used in cooking. The word is not a coincidence. Paprika is merely dried and ground Capsicum annuum, despite having quite a different taste. The many varieties of sweet colorful foods, spicy hot chilies, and even a harmless cooking spice are all of the same species. Number 2. Cucurbita pepo. Zucchinis are a type of squash. They have soft white flesh, and produce a mild bitter yet buttery taste when cooked. Pumpkins, on the other hand, range in color from orange to yellow to green or even white, have much denser flesh, larger, harder seeds, and taste completely different to zucchini. There are several species of pumpkin that can be eaten, but one of the most common ones is Cucurbita pepo. However, zucchini is also Cucurbita pepo. In fact, so are a number of vastly different vegetables. The bizarrely striped delicate squash, the appropriately named patipant squash, the gigantic spaghetti squash, and a host of others are all in the same species. As a single species, these can all be interbred, although they generally are not, as the results do not taste as flavorsome as any of the pure breeds. Cucurbita pepo has been bred so extensively that it has produced this impressive range of sizes, shapes, colors, and flavors. Number 1. Camellia sinensis. Tea drinkers around the world often cultivate their own particular tastes. Apart from fruit and herb teas, which are generally made from the fruits of various plants, There are a large number of teas which are made from more traditional leaves. Black tea, green tea, oolong tea, white tea, and yellow tea all have their own distinctive aromas and tastes. They are all, however, made from leaves of the same plant. Camellia sinensis leaves are dried and heated to turn them from lush green living photosynthetic factories into the tiny curled fragments we enjoy with warm water. The different tastes come from the way they are prepared. The amount of time they are processed for causes the leaves to oxidize to different degrees, producing a large range of tastes and health benefits. Green and white teas are oxidized the least, followed by oolong teas, and finally black teas, which are oxidized the most.